Welcome, friends. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha, and I am really, really joyful to be here today. And I'd like to share with you this sentiment of metta. Metta is loving kindness. This is a little painting that I made, and on the back I write these sentiments that just come to me. This one reads, "May my silence speak clearly without aggression. May my silence speak clearly without aggression." Let's just take a minute. I'm going to close my eyes and just take a minute to breathe and settle into my body. And I invite you to do the same. If you want to close your eyes, you can. You don't have to. You know, there are some people closing the eyes is way too vulnerable and too risky based on your life's experience. So it's perfectly okay to keep your eyes open and find something beautiful upon which to gaze. You can lie down in this practice today and be in a posture of receiving, of rest and restoration. Sometimes when the nervous system has been highly activated, maybe is in a state of alarm or even resistance, the body can give subtle cues where it's exhausted and it needs to rest. If that's your body today, invite a nice calm ease to come over your body completely. If, on the other hand, your body is feeling a little bit more energized and a little bit more active, you can put your body in a posture where you're seated. And if you do that, see if you can sit in a way where the spine is nice and straight and tall. The belly is relaxed. The shoulders are rolled back so that the heart can be slightly lifted. This is a posture of sada, which is confidence. And allow the inhalation and the exhalation, that pairing, to anchor your mind, your body, your spirit completely in this present moment. Friends, we are beginning a brand new exploration together. For the month of July, the entire month, we are exploring one of 8 folds, one of 8 aspects of the Noble Eightfold Path. We began our journey with wise understanding. And to gain access to that, we had lots and lots of conversations about how to be curious and to notice the conditions when the mind is tight and closed off. Last month, we spent the entire month exploring what it means to cultivate wise intentions. And in order to do that, the threshold moment of really understanding one's intention is, can you be spacious? What are the conditions of your spacious mind? What are the conditions of your mind when it's tight and narrowed and fixated? And the reason why we're looking at these pairs of opposites is because those pairs of opposites are precisely what make you and me a whole human being. And one of the things the Buddhist practice invites us to do is to unlearn this conditioning that says we should be either one or the other. To be the good thing is good, to be the bad thing is bad. And yet reality says, I'm a combination of both. How can I hold that? How can I create the conditions in my life where if I fail to be good, I feel bad about myself. And if I continue to be bad, I feel bad about myself. And how can I celebrate my goodness and learn from it? And how can I honor my badness and learn from it? That's the practice. Today, we begin our journey. We take our first step into exploring the extraordinary idea of cultivating wise action. And we're going to do this by reimagining, how can I do this? How can I look at my actions, skilled or unskilled, awakened or asleep, right or wrong, in a reimagined way that allows me to be whole? So we're going to look at our wise actions, our actions from the point of view of being real about them. What does it mean to be real? And the other, its opposite, is all the ways that we can be false. And that falsehood can dictate one's actions. It is imperative that we spend time with falsehood in order to understand it, because it will influence our intentions, and our intentions dictate our actions. This is such an extraordinary thing that the Buddha discovered, is the Noble Eightfold Path isn't a series of steps to follow. It is a way of mixing and folding and churning so that we just create this alchemy, this spiritual alchemy of wholeness. And so throughout this journey this month, my hope is that you'll begin to see that the more you understand your actions, the more you understand your intentions, the more your actions align with your aspirations. And you'll get there by looking at the conditions of how you can be real and how you are false. And so today, to begin our practice, just to give you an example, because these are kind of lofty intellectual concepts, I do want to share with you a first person example. And it happened just this morning. And I'm so proud of myself. I did a big girl thing, you know, I did some big time adulting. And it's such a silly, stupid thing. And yet, for me, it was a really big deal action. And this is the kind of stuff that makes these spiritual practices, for me anyway, real. I can sit and gaze at my navel and think spiritual things all day long, but until I apply them into my real life, they kind of don't have much flavor. So here's how I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to tell you something super honest. So not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, I went to the doctor. I had a physical, and my cholesterol is elevated. And so my doctor, for the first time ever in my life, prescribed me a medication to lower my cholesterol and to talk to me about, diet and so forth. And this is the first time that I've ever needed a prescription. And I'm 60 years old. And so I took a lot of pride in that. Like, look at me, I'm so healthy. I shared this with Lo earlier, and I'm going to tell you, she used a word that I just loved. It cracked me up. She's like, I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning the game of health. I'm winning the game of getting older, and I'm A-okay. Oh, it's so funny. Like, what is that story in my mind? But nevertheless, I got this prescription and I was so proud of myself because I filled the prescription the very next day. Those are my good actions. And then I watched that prescription sit in the bag with the directions, with all of the adverse side effects and blah, blah, blah on my counter for at least 2 weeks. And I completely avoided it. Oh, I looked at it. I kind of moved it a little bit too, but I didn't take it out of the bag, and I certainly didn't take that medication. And it kept poking at me like, Julia, you need to take your medication. Julia, what's the matter with you? Why can't you get your shit together and take this medication? Julia, I thought you were so spiritual and so honoring of your body and your health. And look at you. I mean, you can imagine story galore. Would you look at that? So then became the inquiry process of my actions. Why am I engaging the unskillful action of aversion and avoidance? What's up with that? And in recent years, one of the things that I've been really endeavoring to do is to apply a lot more gentility and a lot more curiosity, even when I deem an action as being unskillful. And one of my number one unskillful actions is aversion and avoidance. So, by being gentle with my approach to it, I've realized that sometimes I'm avoiding a direct action because there's a lot of indirect thought, indirect discernment, indirect contemplation, indirect understanding going on. And one of the things that became very clear to me today was one of my things about avoidance. It has to do with the stages of change. People don't just change, they go through these stages. And one of the stages is contemplation. And it's at that stage of change where an individual will look at options. What are the positives? What are the negatives? What's my capacity to do this change, to make this happen? Where do I feel incapable? So, one of the things that I didn't even realize was going on for me, but it was fueling my aversion, it was fueling my avoidance, is I realized that the moment I take this prescription, I'm going to have to commit to doing it every single day. And I've actually never done that before. I've never had to take a medication every single day. It's new. It's a little intimidating. I was quite nervous about it. And I told myself, okay, we're going to start on a Sunday, Julia, and we're going to partner it with your vitamins that have been sitting in the little tray that has all the letters for the days of the week. And so I watched Sunday come and go. I watched Monday come and go. Would you look at that? Well, okay, we're going to do it Tuesday. Nope, didn't do it. I thought about, well, maybe we'll just wait until next week and just start at Sunday. And then I thought, what's that all about? And I didn't have an answer. I just let it linger. What's that all about? And that particular action, well, we'll just blow it off until next week, is a little bit about being false. It's about setting up a condition that isn't really based in reality. Doesn't, I don't have to be so linear in my mind. Today, I got up, and for a completely inexplicable reason, today was the day. Thursday, right in the middle of my tray. It's so asymmetrical and weird. And today was the day it happened. Boom, opened up that little pill organizer, took all my vitamins, took my prescription for the first time. Super proud of myself. Way to go, me. Big action, little action. And 2 weeks of contemplation about why I was resisting, not fully understanding why today was the day, and I don't need to fully understand it. And now I've made the commitment to keep going. The journey has started. And I know that what is in front of me, one of the challenges I can anticipate is the notion of perfection. So the minute I miss a day, what's going to erupt in my mind are all the stories that I'm a failure, I can't keep it together, what's wrong with me, all those little narratives, all those little swipes. And you know what? I'm just going to keep going. And I am going to look at the conditions of if I do happen to skip a day, what are the conditions that created that environment? Meanwhile, I'm going to do everything within my power to create the conditions for my own success. And here's the beauty of wise action. I have that level of power, and so do you. That's a beautiful thing to be able to say. I have the power to create the conditions for my success. And I know that part of my success is going to be some mistakes. I don't have to get defensive. I don't have to lie. I don't have to pretend it didn't happen. I don't have to tell myself stories that I'm never going to be able to pick myself up again and do this right. I just keep going. And this little example of taking a prescription drug to lower my cholesterol is just one little silly human thing that I have to do, but it relates directly to some of the bigger things that I have to address related to my relationship to negative habit energy. And sometimes for me, I have to take the spotlight off the negative habit energy and put it on something smaller so that I can really apply the practice to it. And then when I get my confidence built up, I can look back at the more challenging habits in my life. Wise action. Can you be real about your actions? Can you honor when you are skillful and when you are not? When you are in postures of falsehood, defensiveness, projection, self-protection, lying, In the privacy of your own mind and in the sanctuary of your heart, can you look deeply and invite the practice of wise understanding, curiosity, to lead you back into the light? That's the practice. That's the invitation. And using the sentiment of metta that began this practice, may my silence speak clearly without aggression. That includes the silence of my own mind. In the quiet of my mind, can I speak without aggression? What a glorious action that would be. Let's take some minutes to just let this sink in. Let this resonate with you and see what comes up for you. Your life is the instrument with which you experiment with truth. Those are the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. Your life, your mind, your heart, your wisdom, your power, your light. We are all wielding extraordinary tools of spirit and peace. Enjoy this reflection. Friends, let's end our practice today with a little bit of intentional breathing, adding a few mantras as a way of celebrating this exploration of wise action. Breathing in, I am the caretaker of my actions. Breathing out, I have the wisdom to understand them. Breathing in, I am the caretaker of my actions. Breathing out, I'm curious about all of them. Breathing in, I am the caretaker of my actions. Breathing out, may my skill at exploring them fully continue to grow. Breathing in, I am a caretaker. Breathing out, of myself. So join us tomorrow. And thank you for mentioning the recordings. They are offered freely. There's tons of them. And there you can find them on our website, on the Soul Center website, which Lo has posted in the chat. It will also bring you to the YouTube page. And one of our Sangha members, Michelle, has been posting little shorts on our YouTube page as well. And so you can follow or subscribe or whatever it is people do with YouTube. I'm so sorry. That's why other people are taking care of it for me. I just don't. And sometimes they just pop up apparently on your phone when you're driving. If you're mad and you throw your phone down, all of a sudden, ding, and you hear my voice. Friends, it's magic. I don't know. But they are there for your practice, for your joy, for your wonderment. Please take advantage of them. Email me with any thoughts, questions, concerns, and pay attention to, well, we'll let you know of some of the events that we've got coming down the pike. I do want to remind everybody of two other things. One is on Sunday, we meet at 11 a.m. for Sate Seva. And for anybody who isn't familiar with Sate Seva, these are 16 pretty comprehensive mindfulness practices. There's a whole chapter on the mindfulness practice of pause. There's a whole chapter on the cultivation of boundaries. And so we learn how to keep our stuff in our own sacred space and so on. It's a wonderful, wonderful practice. There's a book that you can make a Dana offering purchase. It's available online as well on our website. And on Monday mornings at 9 a.m., we're going to be doing meditations, and we're going to be exploring duality and non-duality if you want to join us for that. And the final thing I want to share with you are a collaborative effort, Sentiments of Loving Kindness. And this is put together by me, Michelle, Shansi, and Lynn from Montana. And what I did was I created all of their artwork and my work, artwork together. I combined them. I had them professionally printed. And then I wrote Sentiments of Metta, my Sentiments of Metta on the back. And there's 31, and they come in this little pouch. So you can do this little practice of picking a sentiment of metta to guide your day. And I did this as a way for people to make a Dana offering, but to also receive something from the community as well. And so these are available on the website under Tokens of Mindfulness if you're in, or here, we have them here. And they're a limited supply, so I didn't print out a whole bunch of them, but they are a wonderful way to support this community, and it's a wonderful way to practice, to really encourage a daily practice with loving kindness. They're 25 is the suggested dana offering, but you can do what you need to do. Yeah. All righty. And then I'll send you a little note, and I make it a whole thing because I don't know. It gives me an excuse to write a babbling Julia letter to you. All right, friends, let's go ahead and end our practice with a dedication of merit. And if you want to come back at noon, our time for a Reiki sound bath, please do. All right, sit nice and tall. And I want to give a shout out to all of the friends that we were meeting for the first time today. Just thank you for being with us. Thank you for practicing with us. I hope you enjoyed your practice, and I hope you get to come back. Remember, friends, in the Buddhist tradition, we begin a practice whenever we step into the presence of the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha. We set an intention to keep the heart open, keep the mind open, so that we can receive this wisdom born 2,600 years ago and is as relevant today as it was then. And then we dedicate the goodness of this practice. We dedicate the fact that we all made the effort to come here. We all had to entertain all kinds of wise actions to bring us here. We are here because of the wise actions of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people we will never know. All of the people who created the technology that we're using. So there's so much to be grateful for. There's so much connection that has enabled us to be here, so much goodness. So we receive that, we take it in, but we don't keep it for just ourselves. We take a moment to dedicate this and remember that we can radiate this goodness through our presence, through our thoughts, through our words. We dedicate this practice to everyone who couldn't be here today. We dedicate this practice to those exercising the courage to receive care. We dedicate this practice to people who are still active in their negative habit energy, causing loss, isolation, confusion, despair. We dedicate this practice to all people whose actions have led to consequences where their freedoms have been suspended for a period of time. We dedicate this practice to anyone who doesn't feel safe. We dedicate this practice to anyone who is unwell. We dedicate this practice in the spirit of peace. May you feel it. May you breathe it. May you be it. Peace be with you, friends. Namaste.